Aloha, this is Jeff, Yogi Tom on the forums. Finally getting around to doing a little sample and review of this Ohana Sopranino, the SK-21A. This is the rosewood back and sides, so one solid piece of rosewood there, and same for the sides wrapped around, and then a solid piece of, I believe this is cedar, red cedar, for the top. There is some, I would say, perloid, not perloid, but imitation abalone or mother of pearl, I don't know, abalone I guess it would be, around the rosette there, which is fine by me. I don't know if it's actually real or not, but it looks a little plasticky, or at least the finish on top makes it look kind of like epoxied or resin filled. Very neat little 12 frets to the body join. There are some side dot markers, although they are very small. It's fine for me. I don't yet have, despite the glasses, my eyes aren't quite going yet. Very simple white, black, white, purfling around with, I wish I knew what this wood was, but there's wood binding of some kind around the edge. And that wood binding is mimicked there on the neck as well. So the neck, or the fretboard I should say, is bound. Very thin, simple paddle stock. You'll notice that these are not the stock tuners, or some of you might. These are Waverleys. And this was actually my first attempt to do it myself, installing some Waverleys to replace the other friction pegs that came on the uke. Originally I wanted to use UPTs, but I think Jim Hanks, I want to say, was right in pointing out that those are kind of heavy, especially for a little thing like this. And sure enough, when I did a little mock trial, it was way too heavy at the headstock at that point. So Waverleys were the choice. And I am thinking about actually installing some on some vintage ukes I have, like the Kamaka white label I picked up. Unfortunately, and I kind of used this B stock, I say B stock in quotes because while it is technically B stock, I really struggled to find anything wrong with it, even when I got it from MIM. I think there's maybe a little bit of a finish issue right on the top. Again, I'm not sure if we can focus on this. Right on the top, underneath where the fretboard meets the top right there, but it's on the, I mean, it's really hard for me to see, even when I'm looking for it. So B stock's way to go, man. The one thing that did unfortunately happen when I was installing these, I took some maybe unsound advice and was using the drill press for the to cut the chamfer, or not the chamfer, the countersink rather, for the Waverly tuners to be installed. But I did it by hand cranking the drill bit, and so what that ended up doing was chipping more of the wood than I anticipated. I also ended up actually cutting them a little too deep on the backside too, which you can kind of see there's a darker gap there. And so what I ended up having to do was, pardon my reach, and this is all just me being an amateur do-it-yourselfer. I have no idea if this was a good thing to do or not, but I guess we'll see. The pegs aren't moving yet. I took some of this wood filler, you know, and actually just went in and applied some to fill back in the. What had happened is because I drilled them too deep, the tuners, even cranking the screw all the way down, weren't gripping into the headstock anymore. They were literally going too far in for the screw to hold. So I just built up both on the front and the back using this, and then my pinky was actually kind of the perfect shape to keep that 60-degree countersink shape that they need. So I shaped it while it was still wet, let it dry and cure. After it was dried and cured, I took some pens that my wife had to color in the wood filler, which was quite light. And so really, I mean, it's hard for me to show in the video. I think I got some good photos of it that I'll post as well. But and you can see some of that chipping there, but I think that pen did a pretty good job of hiding the exposed wood filler. And I gotta say, I love the Waverleys. They work a lot nicer than the stock tuners that came on there, and the buttons are so much. They're about like, they seem almost half the area surface wise. So that's really a lot. I don't know. It looks nice to me, and they don't weigh a lot, so that's another bonus. Having bigger hands, I can't really play this for very long before I start cramping up, but go ahead and do a little sound sample here for you guys. You might notice as well, I've actually strung and wrapped the strings, much like the old school Martins recommend doing. I started doing that just because, I don't know, the look of it is a little neater. I like the straight look coming up from the nut here, but I also wonder if it helps with the string, the break angle of the strings, if that changes the tension or what have you, or the stress on the strings. I do have this tuned up a full whole step from traditional reiterate tuning. So it's tuned B, F sharp, D, A, but here we go. Let's see, we'll do just something so you can hear the sustain, which is pretty nice. Nice bright jangly sound. So this is, I mean, you can finger pick with this. But it's a little bright, a little jangly for that, so it makes it a perfect little strummer. Let's see, this is Ain't Misbehavin', just one verse. There it is. So yeah, intonation's okay up the neck. It gets a little dicey past 5 fret 7, I would say. Okay, still okay. Ooh. And that's all the way up at fret 9, or sorry, 10. I don't typically play that far up the neck, but it's there if you need it. Cool little instrument to noodle around on, and if you can pick up a B stock somewhere, it's a great, like I said, especially for Mim, I feel like she does a great job with setup. This thing feels really nice to play. The action is nice and low without being so low that it gets too, I don't know, too difficult to play. Super, super low at that first fret. I don't know if you can check out that action, but there we go. Yeah, it's a fun little instrument to play. Originally, I bought this for my daughter to learn on. She is 11 months old right now, so obviously not playing the ukulele, but she is very interested in grabbing the strings and strumming on them. And hopefully this will be a nice player for her to learn on once she's old enough to start noodling around. The last thing I'll say is I've got this strung with Worth Browns. I feel like it kind of mellows out that really bright jangle that the smaller size would otherwise have. Yeah, I'd recommend upgrading to Waverleys and installing Worth Browns if you have one of these in your arsenal, or if you're thinking about any of the smaller smaller scale ukuleles. I think they really look nice with the peg heads rather than the ears. And then yeah, the Worth Browns are a great mellow option for you. Longer than most of my videos that I post, but a lot to talk about with this little one. So thanks for watching.